Back from Las Vegas, where I ventured to the Trump International Hotel and sat down with the billionaire who's defying all of the media's predictions of gloom and doom, up to an 11-point lead in Iowa and a 17-point lead in New Hampshire, and Fox News polls just out this morning, making him still the Republican candidate to beat. Welcome.
Thank you.
After months of attacking the press as dishonest and slimy, you seem mostly to be toning it down a bit. Have you gone from nuclear to low-level warfare?
Well, you know, I started off basically like with 0, and now I'm at 42. Some polls have me up at 42. In Florida, I'm 48. And I think I'm probably a little bit different. I mean, you have to be able to change a little bit, but I think I'm a little bit different. I'm doing very well.
Are journalists treating you with some new respect because they think you may win?
Not all, but they're treating me with great respect. A lot of them, I tell you, the Wall Street Journal has been terrific. They've really changed their views, and I've gained a great respect for some of the people in the Wall Street Journal. Some of the others have really changed their views, and rightfully so. I'm not saying it from my standpoint how I'm saying, you know, look, we've done a good job. Time magazine wrote one of the most beautiful cover stories that I've ever had. The one from last week where I'm talking to a crowd, but they're talking about this whole campaign. So, yeah, I think there's been a big change in mode and mood.
And yet, after Sarah Palin endorsed you, some media outlets started savaging her. New York Daily News ran this cover with the two of you. I'm with stupid. Your reaction?
Well, I think that Sarah, first of all, she's smart. And she's cunning, and she's a good person.
What about the media attacks on her?
Well, they can attack. You know, in the meantime, she has one of the best records. I will tell you, Ted Cruz wanted her so badly, he almost cried. He's a nervous wreck. I watched him the other day. He's a nervous wreck.
Joe Scarborough said that you should send Sarah Palin off the trail to home to deal with her son's
problem.
Well,
Joe is a friend of mine. I think Joe's a fantastic guy, okay? But he's maybe not a fan of Sarah. That's okay. You know, people have their opinions. I will say this. If you look at the people that she's endorsed over the years, including Ted Cruz, who was like at 2%, and then she endorsed him and he became the senator from Texas. And he knows, and you know the feeling. He wanted her desperately more than anybody else. She's a good woman. She's a great person. I've known her for a long time. And she called me and she said, I want to go with you. She sees, you know, I've created, this is a movement. It's not about me. It's what we're saying. We're like led by people that don't have a clue. We're led by incompetent people. And the voters are getting it. I just left a rally. We're in Las Vegas today, but I just left a rally yesterday in Oklahoma. We had 20,000 people. We had to send away 5,000 people. We had 20,000 people. And I just left one in Nevada where we have thousands and thousands of people. It's really a movement.
As we get closer to Iowa, New Hampshire, you've really ratcheted up against Ted Cruz, calling him a nasty guy, saying nobody likes him. Now, I know you say he started it.
Well, he is a nasty guy.
But he hasn't used that kind of language against you. So is this a strategy?
Look, he started it, okay? And it sort of started a little bit during the debate. I said, whoa, what have we here? And, you know, it's funny. He's a good debater, but he's not a good talker. Meaning he could debate, but if he's one-on-one with a person, he can't relate, he can't talk. And that's not good. That's not what we need. He started it, and I hit him hard. Frankly, the Canada thing is a big problem. He was born in Canada. He was a citizen of Canada until 15 months ago. And a lot of people say, and legal scholars have come out, and I'm not only talking about the wonderful professor from Harvard who we've talked about before, I'm talking about other lawyers have come out very, very strongly and said he cannot run. So there's a big doubt over his whole candidacy. I brought that out. And, of course, he didn't file his loans with Goldman Sachs and with Citibank.
He says that's a paperwork error. You said for days that you were only raising Cruz's Canada birthplace because Washington Post asked you that was true, because other journalists asked you that was true. But, come on, you know how to deflect a question. You were trying to make a major issue out of it.
I'll tell you what, the Washington Post asked me that question among 10 other questions, right? Very good reporter, Bob Costa. Just asked me the question. I haven't given it very much thought, to be honest with you. I said, it is a problem, however, because there is a substantial doubt. You can't have a doubt. And a lot of people think there's not a doubt.
But you started out saying you were trying to help Cruz on this issue.
Well, in a way, I am helping him.
Nobody believed that.
In a way, I am helping him. But you know who I'm really helping? The Republican Party. Supposing he were the nominee, the first thing the Democrats, you know, he's already got 2 lawsuits that just got filed. The first thing the Democrats are going to do, Howie, is sue him and sue the party because he's not allowed to run, okay? How can you have a candidate that has a cloud, sort of in real estate they call it a cloud of title? He's got a cloud of title. He's got a cloud over his head. He probably or possibly is not allowed to run.
Well, many lawyers would dispute that.
Yeah, some lawyers dispute it, but that's the point.
But you're the one who made the issue out of it, not the press.
It hasn't been decided.
Okay.
It can go either way. It depends on the court. And that's a big problem. You agree that that's a problem?
it's a potential problem. It didn't really seem to be a problem until you brought it up.
How can you have a person running for your party that maybe is not allowed to run for your party?
Let's talk about New York values. You're from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn. You very effectively brought up the response to 9/11 when Cruz raised this in the debate. He was making the point that when you did that interview with Tim Russert, this is back in 1999, you said, well, I'm a New Yorker and I'm very pro-choice. I'm a New Yorker and I wouldn't dismiss gay marriage.
I hate the whole concept of abortion. I said that strongly. I hate the concept of abortion. And I said I'm pro-choice, but I said I'm hate. That was a long time ago. And I will say this. Ronald Reagan was a pretty liberal Democrat when he was younger. Okay? And he switched over to a fairly conservative, not overly, but a fairly conservative, okay? I mean, you know, he was pretty good. And he turned out to be a great president. People change, but if you remember that comment, it said, and very strongly, and I give them credit for leaving that part in, I hate the concept of abortion. I said that very strongly.
Now, I understand you were a businessman in New York. You had to get along with Democratic politicians in Democratic City. You gave money to everybody. I understand that. But can you understand how some Republican voters would have doubts because of your past positions that you're a true blue conservative?
So they said I was a world-class businessman, one of the articles. And as a world-class, and I did. I built a great company, a fantastic company. I'm going to use that same, whatever it is, I won't care about my kids will do fine, and I'm going to use that same to do for our country, okay? I feel like I want to be so greedy for our country. I want the money pouring in. We're going to save Social Security. We're going to do so many different things, all right? I will tell you, as a world-class businessman, or as even a businessman, you have to get along with politicians. You have to get along with Democrats. You have to get along with Republicans. It's standard. I mean, you can't have enemies. Half of the people out there as enemies. So I was able to get along with Clinton. I was able to get along with Reagan. I was able to get along with everybody. I get along with everybody. That's a very good thing. And by the way, one of the problems our country has right now, we're at gridlock in Washington. We have total gridlock. Everybody hates each other.
But on this point, Senator Cruz says that you're now becoming the establishment candidate, that the establishment is embracing you because you will make deals with the Beltway power brokers that he won't.
The problem with Cruz is that everybody hates him. They all hate him. Think of it. You've got all these Republican senators. He doesn't have one Republican senator that's endorsing him. And then you have Senator Dole. You look at Senator Dole. Right. I mean, Bob Dole is a great person. He's with an incredible wife. Incredible, Elizabeth. I mean, he came out so strongly against Cruz, and he was very nice to me, which I really appreciate, but he came out so strongly. These are great people. These aren't bad people. These are great people. You have to get along a little bit. You know, you can be tough. You can be sharp. I'm a deal maker. He said Donald Trump's a deal maker.
You don't take that as an insult?
No, I think it's a great thing. Yeah. You know where I'm going to really do good with China? You look at China, you look at Japan, you look at Mexico. They're killing us. They need a deal maker. A guy like Ted is not a deal maker.
As you know, Mark Levin looked at your criticism of Cruz. He questioned whether using Nixonian tactics. Rush Limbaugh was also critical. And I know you care about what they think because the last time we talked, you said that influenced you to back away a little bit from some earlier criticism of Cruz. So now they're saying, I don't like the way Trump
well, Rush isn't saying it. No, I'm sorry. Rush has not said that. Rush has been, I think, terrific. He made a point, but he said you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Mark... I like Mark very much, but I think Mark is really much for Ted. And that's okay. I mean, if he wants to be, I have a lot of respect for Mark Levin, but I think Mark has been for Ted. I mean, you can't, that's why they have menus in restaurants. You make different choices, right? But I'd like to have Mark on my side, and he has been pretty much on my side, but I guess he didn't like this. But if you remember, Ted Cruz started it. Many of these people, if you look at guys like Lindsey Graham, excuse me, if you look at, that's okay, but I have to hit back.
Right.
If you look at guys like Lindsey Graham and Perry and all of these guys, they're all gone now. Lindsey Graham hits me all the time. Then he supports Jeb Bush, who has no chance. He's got less chance than you, and you're not running.
I'm not running.
You would do better than he would.
In the last debate that you embraced the mantle of anger. And I understand you're angry about the way things are being run in this country.
I don't love it, but I'm angry. Look, Nikki Haley's a wonderful person.
People usually like an optimistic candidate.
I am an optimistic candidate because I'm going to make things better. Make America great again is a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. You have to view it as a positive. I like Nikki Haley. She likes me. She said I'm a friend of hers. I supported her. She did say in her speech, there's a great anger out there. And she said, Trump is part of that anger. But, you go to my rallies. You saw what happened in Oklahoma yesterday. I filled up a stadium. Mm-hmm. You saw what happened today in Las Vegas. I mean, the ballroom was packed. They were sending away thousands of people. No matter where I go, the people are angry. And it's not the anger that you're thinking they really want to see our country be great again.
So you're channeling that anger?
Maybe I am. Because I have to be doing something because I feel the same way that they do. So when she said anger, everyone say, "Oh, I'm not angry." I said, "No, but I am angry. I'm angry at the Iran deal. I'm angry at our trade deals where we lose $500 billion a year with China. I'm angry at our deals with Japan. I'm angry at Mexico where the people pour across the border and we do nothing about it and we have to take care of everybody. I'm angry about all these things. But I'll be very happy very soon if I win because I'll change it."
If you are the nominee and you're not just trying to appeal to Republican primary voters, will you tone down your rhetoric a bit? Will you reach out to minorities more?
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm going to do great with the African-American minority. You know, if you look at minorities, the African-American poll came out, how is it 25%? No Republican's been above 7 or 8%. I'm going to do great with the African Americans. I think I'm going to do great with the Hispanics. I think I'm going to do great with the Asians.
But you said absolutely. Do you mean absolutely you are going to take a little bit different approach as the general election?
I don't know if I want to change so much. Look, the African Americans love me because they know I'm going to bring back jobs. Look at what happened. Look at what happened as an example with African American youth. 54%, 58%, they don't even know it's so high. They can't get jobs. Look at African American people in their prime, 30s and 40s and 50s. Look at their unemployment rate. They want jobs. They're going to like me better than they like Obama. The truth is, Obama has done nothing for them. He's African American. He's done nothing for them.
African Americans are going to like you better than the first African American president?
I think that relatively speaking, I mean, he does have a slight advantage in all fairness, but I think relatively speaking, when I'm finished, I think they will absolutely love Donald Trump. I'm going to bring back jobs. I'm going to create wealth for the country. People are going to partake. We're going to take back jobs from China, from Japan, from Mexico, from all these countries that are ripping us off. And African Americans are going to benefit. And by the way, Hispanics are going to benefit. I have now thousands of Hispanics that work for me. I've had tens of thousands over my lifetime that have worked for me. These are great people. They want jobs.
If you are the nominee, will you continue to do so many interviews? Will you go on so many shows? Or will you do what most politicians do and become much less accessible?
I think I'm not going to change too much. The formula seems to be working. And frankly, if I can do your show, I mean, I have to do the fair shows because a lot of people aren't fair, and I won't do those shows. But you've always treated me very fairly. And I will do the shows of fair people. I'll give you an example. I think Mitt Romney's a very nice person, but the last month of the campaign, and I have to give Obama credit, President Obama was on Letterman, he was on Jay Leno, he was all over the place. And I'd call up Romney's people, who were not very good, and I'd say, why isn't he campaigning? Why isn't he on television? Obama's on all these shows. And they'd say, oh, he's going to do... The last month, it's like he disappeared. You remember that. That was a big mistake. No, I'm not disappearing.
Donald Trump, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
In that interview, Trump also criticized Fox's Megyn Kelly, and he's been out there saying now she shouldn't be one of the moderators in this week's Iowa debate. Fox News putting out a statement. Megyn Kelly has no conflict of interest. Donald Trump is just trying to build up the audience for Thursday's debate, for which we thank him. I said she has tough questions. That's her job. Next up.